Well, this weekend marks the 31st year for Beatles Fest in Chicago, but it's now called the Fest for Beatles Fans. The event attracts fans and collectors from around the world. One of the biggest collectors of them all is Tom Fontaine. And Tom, welcome back to Chicago tonight.
Phil, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You know, whenever you come, you show up with these items, and I think, where the heck did you get these things?
Oh, I tell you what. I mean, it's, you know, I just had my 49th birthday yesterday, and I've been doing this since I was 6 years old. And I started collecting, and, you know, over a period of time, I just got into it so much, and I just never ever stopped. I had a lot of support from my family, had great allowances. Once I finally turned my family on to the Beatles, that was really good.
Okay, listen, before we get to the stuff you have on the table, when you were 6, what did you collect?
I collected Beatle cards. I saw there were some cards that were flying around during a rainstorm, and I went outside and I picked them up and put them on my register. And I dried them off, and I saw what they were, and I started going to my Uncle Johnny's store, and he saw the Beatle cards and threw about 10 packs in at a time. I tell you what, I went to the store every Saturday with my mom for the whole year because he kept on throwing them in there.
Oh, good for you. Okay, listen, you brought some stuff in. First of all, tell me about the that beret, that hat that you have.
The beret, that is actually John Lennon's beret, and that was on the Grammys in February of 1975. He was on with Paul Simon. And Andy Williams was the host on that, and actually John auctioned that off in May of 1975 at the Helping Hand Marathon in Philadelphia, and he actually signed it, but he signed it in black on black. So, well, a lot of
people
can
make it out?
See it. I can't. I'm colorblind. So, but some other people have been able to see it, and yeah, it's definitely there.
Where did you get it?
Well, I got it, actually it was in an auction in England, and I knew what it was, and I just, you know, put a bid on it and just hope for the best, because that's what I do. I put a maximum bid on something, otherwise I may have to sell my house. So therefore I just put, you know, what I felt like it was going to be, and I ended up winning it.
Is it tacky to ask you how much you paid for it?
Yeah, I paid around $4,500 for it.
$4,500, wow.
Yeah, I'm a big Lennon fan.
What do you have right next to it?
Right here is the cream of the cream as far as Beatles toys are concerned, but this is the actual record player that was released in 1965. And what's so neat about it, there was very limited of them, and I believe they were $29.95. And of course in 1964, that was kind of expensive. Sure. And these kind of vary. I mean, these are what it is. I call it
the iPod of its day.
You know, and I also call it the photographer's dream. I tell you, when you look at it and it sits in place, it's just this beautiful piece. And actually, what I did was I put I want to hold your hand 45 on there for just, you know,
just for a presentation.
It had to
does
be.
It actually work?
It actually works.
Really?
It really does. It makes a couple tick, tick, tick noises, but other than that, it works fine.
You know what? If it didn't have those tick, tick noises, you'd wonder if it was authentic.
Good point.
Okay, what else do you have here from the Beatles that you think is pretty
Well,
cool?
I tell you what, this is an actual, for TV people, bumper card. And that's actually signed by all 4 Beatles for Thank You Lucky Stars. And what's neat about that is that the actual film of that certain broadcast has been lost. So the only thing left that had anything to do with the Beatles is that card right there, but it's also signed by all 4 of them.
Yeah, look, I know you're an expert on Beatles signatures. Can you spot a fake?
Oh yeah, I really can, and it's because it's a lot of work, a lot of investigating and checking out and everything like that, and that's why. Actually, what I did for the fans and collectors, I did a Beatles autograph study, and that's really helped a lot of people, because I started from 1960 all the way up to today, because obviously a lot of variations of the signatures, but I get a lot of comments, and they're really happy with the study I did.
If somebody has a collection of all 4 of their autographs, what is that worth?
Oh, I tell you right now, it's getting to be around the minimum. About a set of 4 is like on like a one piece of paper is $6,000 and up.
Wow. All right, what else do you have here?
Well, let's see. We've got a couple things. This Miami is kind of an interesting thing. When the Beatles were at the Peppermint Lounge in Miami, they arrived February 14th, 1964, Valentine's Day, and this drink card is Peppermint Lounge drink card was signed for one of the waitresses, and it's an interesting story because she asked, actually Brian Epstein said, would you like to have an autograph from the boys? And she said no. And so he just thought, what do you mean by that? So he went over there and marched over and got all 4 of them to sign. He says, well, you're going to take one anyway. Wow. I bought that from her about a year and a half, 2 years ago, but great story on it.
Another great story is how you got one of these shirts, or the story behind the shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, the John Lennon Tiberius shirt. Yeah, you can pull that right there. Believe it or not, that's John Lennon's shirt. I know it looks awful small.
Golly,
but the interesting story about this is when they were in Cold Spring Harbor, John's assistant, Fred Seaman, was with him, and what happened was it was infested by fleas, the house. So they had to completely clear out everything
Beetles
out of
and
the
fleas?
drawers. And finally, John just said, "Oh, just take them." And then over a period of time, Fred started to sell them. And I was fortunate enough to get one.
Now, how do you know John actually wore this?
Well, I have an affidavit from Fred Seaman and everything, and obviously it's also published in 2 or 3 books, including his own, about the infested fleas. There was shirts galore and jackets and everything. John said, "I'm not going to wear those things. You just get rid of them."
Okay, if somebody wanted to buy this T-shirt, how much would it cost?
Well, that one, since it hasn't really never been photographed, you know, I think we talked about last time, photo ID'd. I would probably sell it for about $3,000 or $4,000.
3,000 or 4,000?
Yeah, it's very reasonably priced, because usually when you get something photo ID'd, that's when it starts shooting up. Matter of fact, there was an item just recently in an auction of John's jacket, went for $350,000.
Wow.
A jacket.
All right.
So,
well, listen, there's a big anniversary coming up, and that is the, an anniversary coming up of the death of Elvis Presley.
That's correct.
You brought in some Elvis Presley things.
Yeah,
What did you bring in?
Yeah, I sure did. This is a great photo. Actually, when Elvis was doing
this one right here?
Yeah, he was doing a flight, and actually he wrote to Bob. He says, "Thank you for the wonderful flight, Elvis Presley." And that was right around the time of the '68 comeback tour. And then we also have here is this wooden thing. That is a tiki necklace that was Elvis's good luck charm. And he wore that, he bought that when he was doing Blue Hawaii in 1961.
You know, it looks like it goes in that room where he's got all that monkey wood furniture and Graceland.
Exactly. He was into some interesting things. And
That's pretty hideous.
Yeah, well, what he did was he gave that to Joe Smith, who actually is Billy Smith's wife, and Billy is Elvis's cousin. And that's how I ended up getting it. And then right in front of there, I think the tickets kind of fell a little bit there, but there is, we'll just move that real quick. There's a turquoise ring, and that's Elvis Presley's turquoise pinky ring. And with that, Elvis and Ronnie Tutt, his drummer for all those years, they went shopping with their respective wives.
This is a pinky ring?
That's a pinky ring.
Oh, goodness.
That's a pinky ring, yeah. And
nothing understated about the king.
Nothing understated, but that's why we love him.
Absolutely.
That's why we love him.
What else do you have?
Well, I tell you what, obviously I've got some things from the day the music died.
The day the music died is when
Buddy Holly,
Richie
Big Bopper,
Valens and the Big
Richie
Bopper.
Valens, February 3rd, 1959. And I got a signature of Richie Valens, nicely matted up. And then here's a Buddy Holly autograph. That's interesting because it's on the back of it it was signed in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which was the last Winter Dance Party tour that was less than a week and a half before he died. And then this one here, the Big Bopper's wedding, this sheet music, this will give you chills, but this actually was in the briefcase at the crash site.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and
Wow.
I've got an affidavit letter from actually J.P.
Here, let's
Richardson's.
take a look at that real quick so people can see what you're talking about.
J.P. Richardson's son basically did a nice affidavit on that, and that was actually at the crash site.
Very interesting stuff.
But and one last thing too, I have to tell you, this is a good one too. That is an American Bandstand contract signed by Jim Morrison when they were on
the Doors?
Yeah, Jim Morrison's signature is like close to impossible to get, and to get a document, that was a coup. I was really happy about that one.
Is that is that Jim Morrison's Social Security number?
Yes, it is. Oops, oops, oops.
Okay.
And last thing we have here is, I just wanted to show you, this is kind of cool. Jimi Hendrix, it's a Woodstock ticket signed by Jimi Hendrix. It's the only one known that's ever surfaced in the world.
All right.
And he signed it and did a little heart over it. And I'll tell you what, I could just go on for on, but there you go. So
Interesting stuff. Tom, good to see you
so
again.
it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure, Tom. Thank you. And Tom Fontaine and his collection will be at the Fest for Beatles fans this weekend at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare. Details on our website.